Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. Let's quickly look at this before, as it will be better for everybody if it's done much earlier so that you can cross-reference it against your own chart and do any amendment. So let's look at what we have next week. What do we have next week? All these bank of all these major banks, Bank of Canada, Bank of Japan, Fed, they're talking on when? On Tuesday. Yeah, we have heavy US news next week. We have heavy US news next week. So that means the dollar is going to be pretty interesting this coming week. So as always, we're going to start with NASDAQ. So let's look at the weekly. If we look at NASDAQ from the weekly, we can see that it's on the downside. It's on the downside. It's not making any new highs. Again, it's not making any new highs. So on the weekly, it's still on the downside. If we go into the daily for the NASDAQ, we can see that it's kind of been ranging. If you
Yes.
notice, it's been ranging on the daily. So now, if we look at it on the 4-hour time frame, it's basically still ranging.
Range.
But if you look at it on the lower time frame, you notice that something is about to go down. There's been something here. There's a shift in market structure here. There's a shift in market structure here. So
After the low also.
most likely, if we're to look at this and decide what we're going to have this coming week, we might see a pullback and then a run for this high. If you look at, let's look at levels of interest. There's a weekly fair value gap here between this point to this point. It hasn't
Yeah.
been filled. That is what you have here.
Okay.
That fair value gap is between here and here. So price may try to fill this, then you
Run up.
notice you have this structure here. So I believe we might see a little bit of a pullback, then a run to the upside. That is depending on what they do first on Monday. If
Yeah.
they break
Sweep.
this high on Monday,
Yeah.
break is better. But if they sweep above it and pull back in, then that means they will first go down. Then you might then start seeing the move on Wednesday, Thursday. But if they rally first, then that means that they will sweep this high, then start moving back down. Whichever direction they move first will tell what they want to do. But I believe they might come towards this area within the week, towards this area within the coming week. So the next pair we're going to look at is dollar index.
So you should go there.
Looking at dollar index,
Yeah.
looking at dollar index,
I know that's not it.
dollar index is basically in a corrective move to the downside. There's this balanced price range here. If you look at the balanced price range, that's between this fair value gap to this point, one down, one up. And the last time price came close to that, it hasn't basically come close to it because if you put your stuff here, this is where that level is. Are you still there? That balanced price range is still there. So I'm anticipating that it's going to hit this balanced price range. That's what I think. Because one candle down, one candle up. So this zone here is going to act as a support in the nearest future. But it's not basically doing that yet. If you look at this on the daily time frame, it's basically in a range, but there's equal lows here.
Yeah.
It's something that's looking like equal lows here and here. So price may still come down, but if you look at this on the 4-hour time frame, he hasn't made a new
Just
low yet.
everywhere.
He hasn't made a new low yet, but he has taken out buy side liquidity.
Yes,
You get
the
it. So
shift,
that
yeah.
means most probably it will come down here. But how is it going to do it first? Will it try to feel all
Feel
this
that's
imbalance,
right. Yeah.
then move down? But this pair might tilt to the downside. Most likely it's going to tilt to the downside. It's more in a range than with a directional bias.
Yeah. Yes.
So you just need to be very, very careful with it. But I believe it will try to feel this imbalance first, because it will definitely come here. It has taken this high,
I say.
this high, this high. So we might see it pull back because there's already a neckline here. If you go to your 1 hour time frame, it might come up to this level, then continue back to the downside. So for the dollar index is more range with a bias to the downside. The dollar index is more range with a bias to the downside. So the next one we're going to look at is the Euro USD. But long term, we should understand that the dollar index long term is bullish.
Long term, yes.
Long term is bullish. On the weekly time frame, if you look at it on the weekly time frame, they've broken this high. So this is more like a retracement. And then if you look at it on the weekly time frame, there's another block here. These down candles are other block.
That's what it is.
And then you have this fair value gap. So on the weekly time frame, this man is more bullish. So what we're looking at is a corrective move. And if you look at, it's like they are trying to bottom out. Do you see it? They are trying to bottom out before they now start moving back to the upside. So we need to have that at the back of our mind. So the next one we're going to look at is Euro USD. So looking at this pair, this pair, it seems to be on the upside. Order flow on the weekly is to the upside because we've broken above this high. This high here, we've broken above this high. So we can say order flow is to the upside. If we go down to the daily time frame, we can also say order flow on this man is to the upside, but we have a break in market, shift in market structure here. I have a shift in market structure here. So the deal now is if we go down to the 4 hour time frame, what would be their game plan? What will be their game plan? So basically, I believe this may try to rally, but it may pull back first before continuing to the upside. So for this pair, his daily range is this high to this low. That's what he does there will determine a whole lot. What he does there will determine a whole lot, because on the daily time frame, we have a shift in market structure. We have a shift in market structure below this low. But this formation tells me that, hello?
It has moved up again.
Yes, this formation is telling me that there's a refusal to go lower. It's clearer on the line chart. So that means I might still go up. But first, it may first pull back. It may first pull back, then continue back to the upside, because basically you have something like this. You see, clean off the 79 from this point to this point. So it may still rally up. Maybe come for these highs. Any of these highs is what it may come for, but it may first pull back before doing that. So the next way we're going to look at is GBPUSD. Looking at GBPUSD, well, this pair, looking at the way the weekly has closed, it may be trying to run up and run up real hard. This long lower week. So if we go into the daily time frame, well, I have a break in market structure here, break here. It's a shift in market structure here. So this pair may still rally, probably towards this daily fair value gap here. May try to rally towards this daily fair value gap to close it up. Can see, so it does depends on what it will do first. I believe it may come down. It may come down first, then rally. But if it sweeps here first, then we already have a bullish market structure set up. Then we wait for the retracement and then a continuation into this fair value gap. Because I believe this is where it may be coming for this week. I believe that's where it may be coming for this week. Or because it needs to make a new high on the 4-hour to confirm it. But if you look at it on the 1-hour, there's already a change in market structure here. Can you see it? It's a bullish setup. So it may pull back, then continue. The next paper we're going to look at is gold. So looking at gold for now is still knocking on the upside. It's at this structure point here on the weekly. If we go into the daily setup, on this fair, it's still below here. I believe it may come for this high. Either this or this high here. There's an imbalance here. So I believe this is where it may gone for. Because this pair is bullish. Whenever you're looking at your chart and you see a down candle and an up candle immediately after, most likely this is the retracement and this might be the continuation. So if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, you most likely may see a pullback on this pair due to the way it is. It's at the 4-hour fair value gap. That's the 4-hour fair value gap here. That's between here and here. And then price is pulling back from the consequent encroachment. That's if you use this consequent encroachment between this point to this point. And see that's where price is rejecting from. So this may pull back to fill up this imbalance. Then continue to the upside. So for now, gold is still slightly bullish. The next pair is EURGBP. EURGBP might still move lower. We have a bearish engulfing on the weekly.
It's taking another high. There's a high they're taking up.
This one here.
Yes. Go higher than down.
And this is, we have a swing on the on the weekly. If we go to the daily, we already have a swing. If swept liquidity here, so this may pull back, and then before it continues back to the upside. But how low will it go? Let me look at the 4-hour. Any of these levels there, but that will be confirmed because we have a shift in market structure here. So this was just a retracement. So we might see another move up than before they move down. And if you look at it, wicks on both sides. So the movement has not been very smooth on this pair. It hasn't been very smooth. It's just of recent that you're seeing one-sided candles. But if you look at this since December, wicks on both sides. So for this pair, it may rally, then sweep below all this into this point here. So we might see a little bit of weakness on this pair coming into the new week. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is GBPCHF. GBPCHF is more range. It's more in a range. If you look at it on the, it's more in a range.
One of them is clearly in a trend at the moment. Short time of the year.
It's in a range. It has nowhere to go. So, but I believe they may sweep these highs. They may sweep these highs coming into the new week. They may sweep these highs because it may pull back, then continue back to the upside. He's making new highs, new lows. I mean, no new highs yet, but basically this pair is in a range. So the best play for this pair will be to wait for it at any of these highs or a pullback and then a continuation to the upside. For the yen pairs, let's look at the yen basket first. Looking at the yen basket, if we look at the weekly, this pair still has a bullish upside. On the weekly, he's tilting to the upside. On the daily, you can still see there's a break in market structure here. price pulled back, created this other block, rallied, and that's where price is sitting above now.
Yeah.
So for the yen basket, we can say the yen still has some bullish strength in it. Well, it's currently at a critical area. So as long as this level here stays, the bullish move may continue. But if this bullish move breaks, then we have a breaker. Then that means you'll be waiting for something like this, and then a move lower on this pair. But given this setup that is still bullish, we can then look at GBPJPY. You can see that GBPJPY is still tilted to the downside, although it's in a consolidation for now. It's in a consolidation now. This is the dealing range 162.34 to 155 to 155.35. So if it breaks below, then it may come down here. But a move back above, we'll see price try to gun for this level. Let me look at it from the daily setup. Well, it may rally. It's more in a consolidation, but given the Friday's close, we may see it. We may see a rally coming into this new week. We may see a rally coming into this new week. So it may drop first. If it stays above this 155.35, then we may see a rally towards this point. So that settles it for this week. The video will be posted on the YouTube channel, so you can all get to watch it there for those who didn't, who couldn't join in the live session. Do I have any questions before we end the recording?
No,
any question?
No question.
Okay. Madam Balogu, any questions? Okay, so I wish everybody a blessed and beautiful Sunday ahead and a prosperous and blessed week ahead. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.